Hey, everybody.
Hey everybody,
Welcome back.
welcome back.
Or welcome,
Or welcome.
as the YouTubers like to say.
We are our Odd Pod podcast
A podcast dedicated to the odd, the macabre, and everything else in between.
and everything in between. What's up? As always, I'm Billy.
And this is Felicia.
And it's December.
It's December.
Maybe you didn't notice by our Christmas themed episode last week. It's December. We're almost done with 2020.
I know. Raise your hands if you're excited. I know I am.
There are hands raised in this house. Um,
Not that the new year is going to bring, a magical ending, but...
I'm pretty sure 2021 is the last year of human existence.
Oh, well,
So,
damn.
live it up, baby.
I had plans, but
We
whatever.
better get them out of the way. Yeah, we got a COVID vaccine. Apparently, some lady got the first COVID vaccine.
Oh, I saw that.
She was 90 something.
Oh, yeah. I saw comments about that. I won't go into them.
I mean, I don't know. I'm obviously pro vaccine, but I just hope this old lady's okay.
You know what? I am following a few people who have gotten the COVID vaccine, and you know what? It looks fine.
Sweet.
But this is not a medical podcast.
This is not a medical podcast.
This
It's
is
just
an odd and macabre podcast.
It
And
is.
she hasn't died yet, so
Or turned into a zombie, so it's not really in our field yet. So we're just waiting around.
we'll hand that off to Dr. McElroy.
Yeah, we're actually just gonna wait around and see what happens. So just
Do you know what I am excited for?
what?
Today's show.
I'm excited for today's show too, but we have to wait for this vaccine. So we're going to wait here until something happens that's odd or macabre. No, I'm excited for today's episode too because it's a Billy episode.
Well, sorry about that.
It's okay. And as you know, Billy episodes are just a chaotic whirlwind of short episodes.
Well, I'm here for it because you know how many notes that I had for today? None.
Yeah, and you know how many notes I had for yesterday afternoon? None.
Well, I threw out my back on Sunday, so that was fun and equated to no notes Sunday.
That's okay. I also I was up last night and I'm sitting around and I have a few pages of notes and I'm thinking about how I really need to finish this podcast so that we can record today. And
Well, it's also
what did I do? I took a nap. I slept for 3 hours.
it's also later than we normally record, but
It is actually quite a bit later.
I worked all day for the past 2 days, so whatever.
You know what? It's just been a while since we've recorded this late. Remember when we always used to record around the 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock mark?
Yeah, I like that.
Did you? Because I thought you preferred recording earlier.
Oh, I do. I'm being it's 10.
Yeah.
And I have work tomorrow morning.
At what time?
8.
Okay. That's what I thought. All right. So, do you have any idea what this episode's about?
I know what this episode is about because I gave it to you. We're talking about Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus.
Krampus.
Remember
Who's
when we were
Krampus?
talking about we couldn't figure out how it was pronounced?
Krampus.
Krampus. I think it's just a confusion of the German pronunciation because
It's because I'm
they'd be
uneducated.
It's a Krampus. That's what German people sound like, right?
And every German listener just signs off.
Sorry, guys. So if you are German, I apologize. That was probably a little offensive. But you know what? I'm not xenophobic. I have German friends.
Stop.
But I would like to apologize for the pronunciations that are about to happen.
That's okay. Did you hear the last episode? Butchered it.
I've already forgotten. Remember what the thing I looked up earlier? But you know what? Let's not try to say that now because it's a surprise for later.
It's pear fruit tart.
I told you let's not do it right now because it's
That's
a
the
surprise
episode
for later.
title. Pear fruit tart.
So what do you know about Krampus?
I know that he will take children and put them in a bag and beat them.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's the episode.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
So, Krampus is like a Christmas devil, right? In Austria and across the German-speaking Alpine region.
But I also know there's like a Krampus or a Krampus like on like every continent, right?
Sure. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something.
There's a lot.
That's something that I thought I knew.
I'm pretty sure.
That might
and we'll
be
get
the
into why.
Okay.
It will actually make sense the why because
Oh, okay.
the origins of Krampus were kind of a widespread people.
Okay.
So in Austria and across the German-speaking Alpine region, which is like the Alps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm pretty sure touches 8 countries, and in this Alpine region are where a lot of the Krampus style folklore exists. So that's already 8 countries that Krampus is in, right?
Okay.
He's a Christmas. I have Christmas demon, but he's a Christmas devil. And he's in these areas. He's kind of like a vital part of the holiday season, right?
Right.
But who is the Krampus really? Where did this scary goat man come from? Well, believe it or not, Krampus's roots actually have nothing to do with Christmas.
Okay.
And you could probably believe that.
I do believe that.
Christmas's roots have nothing to do with Christmas, right?
Right. Well, it's kind of like how in like Icelandic culture that the witch didn't necessarily start off as like the Christmas witch. She just kind of turned into the Christmas witch.
Right. Well, he dates back to pre-Germanic paganism. His name originates from the German, or the Old German, I'm sure, Krampen, which means claw. Which is also funny because, like, if you think of, like, when you're cramping, they got you in, like, a claw, right?
I just keep thinking of, like, crumping, like the dance style.
Crumping, yeah.
But, like, that's what it's called, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure that's crumping. It comes from the German word crumping, which is just a crazy dance that people do.
every... That's twice.
You keep trying to
take a sip of my coffee.
So from what I could find, he was originally a child of the Norse goddess Hel.
Oh.
And this is interesting because in Norse mythology, Hel reigns over the realm of Helheim. In Old Norse, that roughly translates as House of Hel or Realm of Hel.
It sounds pretty badass.
Super original. And these are like icy lands that await those that die dishonorable deaths. So instead of going to Valhalla and like drinking and fighting and fucking for all eternity, they just have to wander around in like the ice and be tortured. It's like Viking hell, which of course is like a snowy shithole, right?
Yeah.
And a little fun fact, Hel is the daughter of a little Norse god that you may or may not have heard of named Loki.
Oh.
So Krampus's granddad is none other than that cantankerous old trickster god, Loki.
I love that.
Anyway, I thought that this connection to the underworld was interesting because during the 12th century, the Catholic Church attempted to ban celebrations related to Krampus due to his resemblance to Christian depictions of the devil.
Well, we love a good understory.
Right. I thought it was cool. He's related to basically the Norse devil, and the Catholic Church tried to ban him because he looks like the devil that they depicted.
They sound very judgmental.
Pretty judgmental. I mean, like a dude can't have a goatee and horns. Like, what is this? What is this? Like 1295?
Just perpetuating societal standards.
Yeah, you know what? All demons are beautiful. Obviously, these attempts did not work very well, and over time, Krampus became a staple of the Christmas holiday. I even saw a few things when I was researching when I was frantically searching the internet, where there are like Krampus celebrations that were happening in the U.S. like more frequently.
Yeah, there's a Krampus parade like up in like I think Oregon or Pennsylvania.
Cool. We're going to talk about what those are called in just a minute.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So historically, Krampus comes on December 5th, and this is known as Krampusnacht.
That was like 2 days ago.
Krampusnacht.
We missed it.
We did miss it. I was a little disappointed. You want to guess what that means?
Krampus Day?
Krampus night.
Oh, so close.
Yeah. And if you guessed Krampus night, which you did not, then you were absolutely right, which you did not. So
you'll get one.
You were wrong.
Odd point.
You get nothing.
Oh.
Just kidding. It was a good guess. But I don't, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's Krampusnacht. Anyway, now I think different places might celebrate a little differently because I've read that he accompanies Saint Nick on December 5th, and I've also read that he comes alone, and then Santa Claus shows up the next day. Maybe as like hey,
Santa
sorry
just,
for
like,
all the torture and murder. Here's some presents.
Is Santa just like really busy in the month of December, or is this how he gets like around the world? And
You know what? I don't know. That's another episode.
okay, well, I'll look into that one for the next week.
So Krampus's whole deal is punishing naughty children.
Yes.
What were you going to say? Oh. So he stalks around villages in search of misbehaving children. What he does with these children, I guess, varies on a case-by-case basis. His punishments range from whipping naughty children with birch
I was
branches
going to say if it was like a switch.
to tossing them in a sack or basket to be dragged away, tortured, and or eaten, and sometimes he just throws them in a river and they drown.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty fucked up.
That's a little extreme on the back end there.
I mean, because nothing says Christmas like murdered children, am I right? So let's talk about some of these Krampus festivities,
Sorry,
shall we?
Kind of like speechless there for a second. Just like thinking about nothing murder for children. Is it like a behavioral tactic, or is it a
Well, I'm almost positive that a dead child cannot misbehave, so.
well, it's like, hey, be good before Krampus, otherwise he's gonna take you away and eat you.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what that is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't harm a child at all.
Like, hey, calm down, you little shit, or the scary demon's gonna come and drag you away and eat
And
you.
I'm just gonna let him.
I can't do anything about it. He's a big scary demon man.
I saw him when I was a kid.
He ate your uncle. I don't have an uncle. Exactly.
Well, you did.
So, we're going to talk about some Krampus festivities.
Oh, I'm excited.
Full disclosure, some of these may be the same festival from different parts of the world, but we'll see what we've got, right?
Let's do it.
And having said that, I'm pretty sure I only talk about one, so
Let's
that
crump
doesn't
back
make
in.
sense. Anyway, now I believe it's called Pertains, and it's an Austrian celebration. But I read that it is celebrated in different places throughout the Alpine region. Again, this region. That region runs through 8 European countries, like we said, so it may be called something different in some places.
That would make sense.
We'll look at some of the different names and see if there are any notable differences, but for now, Perkten, or Perchten, but I'm pretty sure it's Perkten because I don't think Germans or Austrians do like the ch sound very, right?
I don't think so.
Um,
However, I don't speak German, so.
Or Austrian. Now, this is actually a variation of a centuries-old pagan tradition that was observed in early December and meant to drive out the devils of winter. I've also seen them referred to as bad souls. I'm not sure if they're meant to be actual demons or unruly ghosts, but just know that they are some type of negative spirit that need to be dealt with in early winter.
Okay.
During the festival, I guess we can call it a festival, right?
We can call it a festival.
Anyway, on this night, or the series of nights, usually the 4th through the 6th of December, the towns will hold a Pertenlauf, and I'm probably not saying that right. This is a parade of heavily costumed Perten devils that basically terrorize their way through the town.
I think I would love to see that.
Christmas.
It's not the most strange Christmas tradition out there.
No, I can
Vouch for
assume
that.
not. Now, I want to emphasize that they are heavily costumed. Traditional Perchten costumes can weigh over 200 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
They are hand-woven from corn leaves collected in northern Italy during the summer months. The corn leaves are sewn together to create these large rustling suits in which performers will be strapped.
Love that.
They also have large hand-carved wooden masks with horns and visages aimed at terrifying away malevolent spirits.
I think I've seen like pictures of this.
I bet you've definitely seen
circling
pictures
the
of this.
internet.
Combined, these two parts of the costume account for somewhere around 120 pounds of the total weight.
Where does the rest of it come from?
I'm glad you asked that, because that's when they start strapping chains
Oh, God.
heavy bells, and metal drums to these parts of the costume. And I can only imagine what a parade of these things must sound like. Once the sun... Sorry, go ahead.
At least it happens like in the winter.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine if it happened like peak summer?
I bet you it's still so hot in those things, but yeah, definitely. Like, hey, so we have this summer tradition where we put on 200 pounds of gear and dance around fire, and people just be like, you know what? Fuck that.
I'm gonna go with no.
I'm gonna just let that tradition die. So once the sun sets, fires are lit in the center of town, and the ruckus really begins. These performances run late into the night. While the heavily costumed Perkton parade through the streets, smaller devils roam the crowd. They attack bystanders with coal-covered hands.
Oh, funny.
Smearing black smut onto people's faces and stirring up scares and mischief.
Not this year, they don't.
Probably not this year, they don't. Now, there is a similar tradition that you mentioned earlier known as Krampuslauf, which is, I think I need to point out because somebody listening right now is probably seething over this fact that the Perkton are not technically Krampus. However, over time, the two myths have become a little entwined, so it's not strange for a Krampus to show up at a Perktonlauf.
Cute.
So, like, while they look the same, and it's sort of the same tradition, right?
But it's technically not the same.
Technically not the same. So
people just, like, agree to disagree.
Yeah, and the holidays are celebrated around the same time, so I mean, tomato, right? It's Christmas time. It's a big, scary devil that's terrorizing people.
He's coming for your children.
In fact... Again, this very similar tradition called Krampuslauf. It's, again, just the marching of people dressed like these Christmas devils, making noise and trying to scare people. Also, depending on where you are, different city, different region, or what have you, the Perktonlauf and Krampuslauf can get a little intense.
How so?
So in some places, the devils that are interacting with the crowd, and I read this in a travel blog somewhere during, again, my frantic searching, will actually beat the observers.
Oh my God.
With reeds or switches or what have you.
Like a real switch?
Like a switch.
Oh, dear.
The account I was reading actually mentions people who would hide in establishments to try to get away from the procession.
Stuck behind the McDonald's.
Right.
Like, fuck that.
Because the devils would pursue bystanders in order to harass them or
so
whip
they're
them.
kind of like those people that like pick out like people at like haunted houses.
Yeah.
Just to scare them. So they're like just beating the ever living shit out of you.
It's like a big outdoor Christmas haunted house.
Oh my goodness.
I have to talk about this because this reminds me of an episode of The Office, and it's the one of the Christmas. It's one of the Christmas episodes when they have like Shroot Christmas in the office.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And Dwight shows up dressed as a character called Belschnickel. At a certain point, he starts whipping Jim with these sticks or switches or whatever the fuck he has in his hands, right?
I was hoping that we were going to talk about this at some point this year.
Now, I just assumed that this was some typical Dwight bullshit, but not only is Belschnickel an actual companion of St. Nicholas from,
oh my God.
From the Palatinate region of southwestern Germany along the Rhine, he's a crotchety old fuck who rewards good children and punishes bad children.
Is that why it's like when Dwight Schrute would like give treats, I think, to Pam?
And I thought this was really cool because Belschnickel made his way to the U.S., obviously, by way of Germany, and is still prevalent in Pennsylvania Dutch communities, which, if you remember, and I'm sure you do, Dwight Schrute and his family belong to the Pennsylvania Dutch community by way of an Amish great-great-something grandfather that's mentioned once or twice in the show.
Oh my God, I love that.
Isn't that cool?
It is cool. Just bringing it back to The Office.
But we aren't talking about The Office.
Okay, the later episode.
But yeah, Belschnickel.
Belschnickel.
Apparently Santa Claus has a lot of helpers with various levels of racism implied. Looking at you, Black Peter.
Oh dear.
And they aren't all elves, so I'm going to talk about some of them. Santa's not so little helpers. And we're not going to talk about Black Peter because
fuck that guy.
It's racist.
I don't know about Black Peter, but I'm going to have to look it up.
I don't know if he's a companion of Santa Claus or if he's a companion of one of Santa Claus's helpers.
But it's inherently racist.
But it's like an elf in blackface.
Oh, I don't
or
like
something.
that.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
As we've been discussing, I guess sort of discussing Have we been discussing?
We're discussing things.
Technically, this was supposed to be about Krampus, but I think I might have gone off the rails. But let's just ride this train and see where we end up.
What else is new?
Right. The most famous of Santa's dark passengers. Dexter, am I right?
So angsty.
Anyway, it's Krampus. Krampus is the before-mentioned Christmas devil. He carries chains and birch branches that he uses to swat kids. The birch branches, not the chains. At least I don't think so.
He's not snatching people with chains.
I don't think he's swatting people with chains, but I don't know.
That would hurt.
Never met the guy.
We're not yucking anyone's yum, are we?
Right, no.
Not on this podcast.
He also carries a bag, or a sack, or whatever you want to call it.
Satchel.
Or a wash tub.
He carries a wash tub?
Yeah, sometimes he carries a wash tub instead of a bag.
Just to make sure, we're like a wash tub. Like a, I'm going to assume like a bucket.
Yeah.
A large bucket of sorts.
So
he just carries it around.
To put kids in, yeah.
And then what? Bathe them?
Carries bad children off to torture, eat, drown, or just drag them to hell.
So let's talk about this.
Okay.
He's going to carry around a wash tub full of water.
No, it doesn't have water in it. It's just a wash tub. An empty wash tub that he uses to carry kids around.
And then drown them?
Or eat them, or
in the
torture
wash
them.
tub?
The wash tub he uses exactly the same way he uses the sack, but it's a tub instead of a
I'm
sack.
just imagining him like carrying around a small pool at all
just
times.
Like a bunch of kids like, hey, what are we doing in this tub? He's like, shut up. My sack's in the laundry.
He's just like drowning children.
As he goes. Like,
yeah.
I didn't feel like bringing him down to the river, so I just brought the water with me.
He's also using it as like a pot too. He just like hooks it up on like a thing and boils them. It's a multi-purpose kitchen tool.
Do you think he kills them and then cooks them, or do you think it's like a lobster kind of scenario, or a frog?
Well, a frog.
I used both those animals because I think you cook them both alive.
Like frog legs? Yeah. I don't think you cook frog legs alive.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking because like you can boil a frog and they won't.
That's what I was thinking of. I was like, you just put them in the water and then turn the heat up.
I think that's what I thought of. Yeah, so lobsters or crabs.
Got very sad about the idea of cooking a frog alive.
I don't know, man.
I don't like the idea of cooking a lobster alive either. Let me just make that clear. But
I don't really like the idea either, but they're both delicious, so.
Not my thing.
So yeah, we pretty much touched on Krampus earlier. I don't think we mentioned the dragging kids to hell part, but
we're just going to throw that out there.
Just going to throw it out there. Krampus sometimes just skips all the bullshit and drags them straight to hell.
Krampus
like the movie.
Carry around a bag, sometimes a wash tub, and he will drag kids to hell. Just glaze over that part.
No, he whips them or tortures them or eats them or drags them to hell.
Just casual.
What was the last part? Eats them. Next we have old Mr. Belschnickel.
Belschnickel?
He bebops around parts of Western Germany. Now, I've seen
Pennsylvania.
I've seen southwestern Germany and northwestern Germany. So I'm just going to assume that he has places he likes to go all over Western Germany. Okay?
That makes sense.
So he kicks around with his good buddy, Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas.
He actually shares a lot of the same characteristics as Krampus, but he is not nearly as scary.
Santa Claus does?
No, Belschnickel.
Oh, I was like, hold up. It's late. I'm trying to keep up.
In fact...
Yeah, stop yelling at us.
Compared to Krampus, he seems like a pretty nice dude. So if Krampus is OkCupid, then Belschnickel is like Match.com, right?
Oh, dear. We're just farmers only come in.
Oh, you know what? A Belschnickel would be like farmers only, I bet, huh? Because you don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com. Farmers only give us money. Just kidding. I'm just saying that would be a really good advertisement for farmers only. So if you're listening, farmers only, you don't have to be lonely either. So he's known to deliver socks or shoes full of candy to good little boys and girls.
I like where all the shoes come in for Christmas.
but it's a bunch of coal or a switch if you've been bad.
Could find uses for those things.
Yeah, you could. But yeah, shoes
I
do
meant
come
like
a lot.
a fire. What are you thinking of?
I'm just saying. Nothing. Yeah, shoes do have a lot. There's like a lot of shoe stuff in
To
Christmas.
figure
right?
out where shoes come in for Christmas.
Like, hey, you know what? Instead of socks and shoes, what if we sold people like Christmas stockings, and we kind of like flipped the tradition, kept the same tradition, but we made it like
We made it like communism, not communism,
we made it
consumerism.
communism. We all use the same
Consumerism.
sock.
It's the holidays, but for consumers.
Yeah, consumer holiday. Walmart. Sam Walton is the Messiah.
Oh God, I don't like that.
Anyway,
Derailed.
plot twist: Bell Schnickel will give the baddies a chance to tell a poem or sing a song to change his mind.
Like any song or poem.
Yeah.
It's precious.
So overall, not a bad dude.
Can you imagine if he was like on the 15th kid and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sick of this.
Why do they keep doing the same poem?
Do these children not read?"
So he's not a bad dude, unlike the next guy.
Oh dear. Okay, let's do it.
And then the next bullet in my notes, what I wrote was, overall, not a bad dude, unlike the next dude. And then the next bullet says, the next dude. Next on the list is Le Pear Fouettard,
Oh, it's pear fruit tart.
which translates as the whipping father, which was my nickname in college. Just kidding. Oh. Oh, God.
Only you have to answer to that. Just wait.
It makes it creepier that I was like the old guy in college, right? So that's what I'm gonna call him. No, you know what? From this point on in this podcast, he will be referred to as Father P. Whippingham, because I'm not pronouncing
You can just call him the pear whip.
pear fruit tart.
Pear fruit tart.
Now, this is one of Santa's crazy homies.
Okay.
Like
And Santa's like okay with this guy?
I'm pretty sure Santa Claus has known this dude since grade school and just doesn't know how to get rid of him. Like maybe they share some kind of nice special memories, but now FP Whippingham has just gone off the rails and is posting all kinds of shit about election fraud and government microchipping.
Are you looking at my Facebook feed?
I don't know. Anyway, we all
No
have
tea, no shade.
we all have that friend, I think. He carries a whip along on all of his visits with Santa and just whoops the shit out of all the naughty
Oh God,
children.
my friend does that too.
Now, that may not sound worse than Krampus, but stay tuned, okay? Because this guy has a backstory,
Oh,
and it is gruesome.
give it to me.
Apparently,
Pear fruit tart coming in hot.
at some point, he was a living man who owned an inn or was an innkeeper. Does that mean, does the innkeeper own the inn necessarily, or can they just work
You want me to
there?
know about like inn knowledge?
Not necessarily, I don't think. Anyway, he was also sometimes a butcher.
Like on the side as a hobby?
No, like some stories say he was an innkeeper, some stories say he was a butcher.
It's like he has a weekend gig as a butcher.
Anyway, he captured 3 wealthy children who were on their way to boarding school. And he was a greedy fella, so he robbed them. Then he murdered them.
They were just children.
Then he chopped them up, put them in a stew. Yummy, right?
I'm terrified.
Jolly old Saint Nick discovered this crime,
And it was like, cool.
resurrected the children, because apparently he could do that. Who fucking knew?
Wait, like necromancy?
No, actually I said, you know what's funny? It says resurrected the children, hopefully in a Jesus way and not a Frankenstein way.
Well, yeah, because they're all chopped up.
Yeah. And ordered Mr. F.P. Whippingham to be his assistant to atone for his sins.
For 3 murders?
Yeah.
Or just because like they were like particularly heinous?
I don't know.
Is Saint Nick playing as like special victims unit?
Well, basically, he made him an eternal slave. So I think the punishment fits the crime.
Okay.
You don't think so? How many murders do you think merit
This isn't about me.
servitude, eternal servitude to Santa Claus?
This isn't about me.
Okay. So suddenly this giant dickbag is forced to spend all of his time with the holly jolliest motherfucker on the planet. As you can imagine, this does not make him happy.
I would just be like, you're extremely like,
It's like me when I wake up. So as you can imagine, this does not make him happy.
It's you when you wake up at 4 p.m. and I've been awake for 5 hours already.
Oh, man. Yeah. I imagine, like, he gets up, he's not really ready to talk. He goes in the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, and Santa Claus comes and stands right behind him. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about something?
No. Whoa, I need you to calm down.
I got excited.
In fact, he becomes even meaner. Believe it or not.
Oh, we believe it.
Well, what does he do with all that pent-up rage? He fucking takes it out on all the naughty kids.
That's why we can't have children.
Worse than Krampus? I'll let you decide. Wait, what?
The real reason.
The real reason. So these are just some of the Christmas critters that parents have used to keep their unruly children in line throughout history. Because the threat of death or dismemberment or harsh physical punishment is just the best mindfuck to lay on young children. Quality parenting.
It doesn't leave any lasting damage.
Yeah, gold star. Probably none of those children grow up to be serial killers or Nazis or anything like that. Hashtag definitely Nazis.
No, we haven't talked about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Murderer coming out of Germany. Just the one.
You're not gonna be able to have drinks at the podcasting table.
I closed it. I'm here.
So I guess that's all I've got.
Oh, well.
Hopefully you learned something. I feel like my episodes are becoming a lot more scatterbrained and just sort of all over the place, but thanks for sticking it out. Hopefully you learned something.
I think in the month of December, there's already so much going on. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, this was going to be a really short episode. Maybe I'll just edit out the fart and leave everything else. We'll see.
I think it'll be fine.
You know what? From written to recorded to edited and all within the same,
12 hours?
12 hours? I think we did pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Let's fill in some space.
I was hoping to have a mini-sode prepared, but I didn't sleep well last night. It's just been a hellacious.
It's been a crazy week, yeah.
Yeah, past week with life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had I wanted to do Krampus, and then I wanted to do the Christmas spider, but maybe we'll do a short episode this week and coming at you hot next week.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Krampus not related. Well, make sure you go to our website, www.ouroddpodpodcast.com. We got a sidebar with all of our links, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Instagram,
I don't know.
Various social medias that we are neglecting.
You can. I'm trying so hard. I'm so terrible at social media anyway. But if you've got your own weird Christmas traditions, go ahead and feel free to send them in.
Please send us that. We can talk about them briefly in the next episode, maybe. Check out our Patreon. Times is hard, but you can at least go look at it. Share it with your rich friends. Tell your rich aunt that you want them to patronize us for Christmas. And then they can just say something condescending, and you got your wish. Yeah, so that's all I've got.
I think it was wonderful.
Thank you very much. I'll do better next time.
I think you did great.
Anyway.
I'll do better.
As always, this has been our Odd Pod podcast. We're the Boneses.
And we are out.